Hey everybody, welcome back to another 1-minute tutorial. In today's guide, I'm going to show you what to do if your Xbox controller is not powering on. 9 times out of 10, this just has to do with the batteries, but there's some other things you can do to see if you can get it back up and running again before it's considered a hardware issue and you're going to have to send it in for repair. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. All right, first tip, check to make sure there are batteries installed. This sounds pretty straightforward, but I have a cousin who has small kids and they like to remove the batteries for practical jokes, so just make sure there are batteries in your remote. All right, second thing to check, if there are batteries installed, make sure the polarity on both batteries is correct. Plus, for the little tip or the cap here, the raised section lines up with the positive on the top and negative on the bottom. So make sure your batteries are in there correctly. One thing I like to do from time to time is grab yourself some rubbing alcohol and a microfiber cloth, put 1 drop of rubbing alcohol, and just make sure the contacts on your Xbox remote are clean. You'd be surprised if there's just a little bit of gunk on there. It can create a bad contact and the battery won't be sensed, or the remote won't sense the battery, and then it won't power on. So make sure your contacts are clean. Next thing to check is if your batteries are getting low. If you have a tester, be sure to test them. If not, you know, a little childhood hack that I used to do all the time because I couldn't afford batteries growing up as a kid is I would roll the batteries back and forth. I don't know why this works, what the science is behind it, but if you just roll the batteries a little bit, put the cover back on, test to see if the remote will turn back on. A lot of the times it'll restore life in the batteries temporarily. If this works for you, this tells you that you do need to replace the batteries. They are getting low. Now, speaking of batteries, I highly recommend picking yourself up some Amazon Basics rechargeable batteries. These are 2400 milliamp batteries. They last a long time. If you game a lot, this will save you a lot of money in buying batteries in the future. I'll put a link below. Next tip I recommend is just replacing the batteries. Maybe you have some laying around, hopefully, or you can buy some at a dollar store if you don't have rechargeable ones. You know, just plug them in, see if that works. If it's been a few months, maybe your batteries are dead. All right, next thing you want to try is hardwiring your remote to your console. So make sure it's plugged in correctly on the top. Plug the female end of the USB plug into your console, turn on your console. If you see a light illuminate, that means you have a good hardwire connection. You can, of course, game this way, but it's not wireless, which is unfortunate, but at least this will tell you if you have a good controller if the light turns on. All right, so hopefully one of those tips got your remote up and running. If not, you probably have an internal hardware issue with your controller, unfortunately, but you can reach out to Microsoft customer support. I'll put a link below to where you can do that. Or if it's still under warranty, if you recently bought it, of course, bring it back and get a new one, because 9 times out of 10, those tips I just covered should get your remote back up and running. So I hope you found this video informative. If you did, please hit that like button and happy gaming.